Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of my God. I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. Ay, I love him, I love him. I want you to know that ain't no name above him. Hey, lift him up. Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of my God. I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him. I want you to know that ain't no name above him. I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. Blessed be the name of my God.
Y'all look so good. I feel this energy. This last session had me in my seat rooted. Okay. Like we talk about being what you can't see. We talk about, having these global visions, right? To create something, to start something new. And the game that we just had in the last session was absolutely incredible. So thank you. Thank you for having me, to be present. And I'm really excited to tell you about my story. Okay. It's been a journey. As the first person to do something that has never been done before, it's been a journey. But as Mickey, my partner, said, started from the bottom, now we here, and I'm going to tell you how we got here. Gildform is my company. We are the world's first all-in-one, on-demand jewelry design and manufacturing platform. Did you hear me when I said the world's first? And that process didn't, come in. I didn't come out the gate and it was like, you know what? I'm going to innovate in the jewelry industry. I'm going to be the world's first something, right? I didn't start there. I was like, I want to create something. I have a vision. God has blessed me with a vision. And so that's why I was so inspired with the title of this conference of Keeping the Vision Alive, right? I was like, oh yeah, we gonna talk today. We're gonna talk. And that vision started on the west side of Detroit, in the hood. And so I was like, okay, I want to create something. I want to create something that's metal. I have ideas. I want to make some jewelry. And then I was like, okay, well, how do I do this? Because beading and wire wrapping, it wasn't it for me. I was like, my mom did that, which I learned a lot. She had us working, okay, on her projects. But I was like, that's not it for me. There's forms that don't yet exist that I want to bring into reality. And from there, I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to do it. So I went on this journey of self-mastery. Write that down. Self-mastery. Okay. And what that means is you have to take it upon yourself to master you, master what it is that you want to do, master who it is that you want to be, and master what it is that you cannot yet see. Okay. Self-mastery. And so I was like, okay, how do I make jewelry? Jewelry has been around since really like the beginning of humanity. We've been adorning ourselves since the beginning of time. Yep. And I was like, well, okay. Well, it's been here. This information has to be somewhere. And so from there, I was like, okay, well, let me go find someone that's doing what I'm trying to do. Okay. Started there, right? It's logical. I was like, I'm a logical person. I'm creative, but I'm logical. Okay. I was like, okay, let me find someone. So then when I went to someone, a jeweler, a couple jewelers, they all were like, well, what are you doing here, little black girl? Oh. No. No, we will not teach you. I was like, I'll work for free. No. Wow. And I was like, okay, well, self-mastery. And so from there, I went to the library, checked out some books because I couldn't afford to buy the books. So I was like, I can get a library card. That's free. And I did that. And I learned the ancient art and process of creating jewelry using a process known as lost wax casting. So we have been doing this since the beginning of times, like ancient. like 5,000 BCE ancient, right? This technology, this process. So I was like, okay, well, now I'm learning how to do it. I got a job because I was like, well, now I know what I need. I've mastered that. So now I need a job to be able to afford the equipment that I'm going to need to make, because I can't do what they did in 5,000 BCE. I absolutely cannot. I was like, no, we're not going to do that. And so I got a job. I was 15 years old. I missed that part. I was 15. And went to school, went to work, and I was able to save up some money to get what they call a casting machine, a kiln, all the equipment, tools that I needed. And for some strange reason, my mom and my dad allowed for me to cast molten metal in a basement. Playing with fire, literally, in a basement, in a hood. So I was like, all right, well, we're going to do it. We got to set up. And thank God that they did, right? They were like, listen, there are no ceilings. And if there are, you will break them. Figure it out. So they gave me that permission that I needed, quite literally needed that to do that in their house. So then from there, I had gold. I'm melting gold in this basement, in the hood, surrounded by poverty, blight, suffering. And I was able to not only just turn my idea into reality, but I was able to discover the most important thing to humanity, which is your ability to have an idea and to turn it into reality. Do you understand how unique that is? That God has blessed us with this ability for vision. And then took it a step further from vision to I'm going to give you all the tools and resources to make it into a reality. Even if you don't have your resources in your disposal, you have it within you. And that's what I discovered. I discovered that my ideas were the reason that I was here, to express, to create opportunities for others. We're going to get into that. But ideas are truly the reason that we're here today. Do you recognize that we're living in someone else's vision in this moment? The reason that we are all here is to live within this vision. And then to, from there, create from that vision. And so that's what I discovered. And so it's a journey. We're going to get there. I promise you. I promise. Because we see some logos on that screen. We're going to get there. Because we're still on day one. And even today, with all those logos on the screen, it's still day one for us. So from there, I learned how to create jewelry. I was 15. By the time I was 18, I was invited to showcase my collections during Paris Fashion Week. Paris Fashion Week. The way that happened was I was documenting my process as I was creating the jewelry. We're going to get into the importance of that, but I want you to write that down. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, your vision, what you're working toward, document it. Talk about it. Get your copyrights and your trademarks together, but talk about it. And share the process that you're going through to create, to build your business, to whatever it is that you're doing. If you're working and you're, are focused on building your career, talk about that. Document your process. And that's what I did. I was documenting my process, creating jewelry, designing, posting it. I had a blog. And one of the world's most renowned fashion buyers just so happened to see one of my posts. Wow. World renowned. And from there, she reached out to someone that was friended. She didn't reach out to me directly because she was like, I don't know who this is. I don't know. She didn't know that I was in the basement in the hood. Okay, I'll tell you that. She was like, maybe let me go through what they call a warm introduction. A warm introduction is let me go to somebody that I think she might know so that I can actually close this conversation, so that I can actually have this conversation. A cold introduction is you just reaching out like, hey, right? With a warm introduction, people are more likely to take you seriously. So she asked for a warm introduction to me. And I was like, girl, do you not know that you are on my like vision board? Like hairspiration for days. I wanted, like her style. I was like, wow, literally you are on my vision board. So she asked someone to introduce her to me. And I, from there was like, okay, I 100% yes, would love to have a conversation. And from there, I was invited to showcase my collections during Paris Fashion Week. And so she asked me, she said, I would like to buy your collections. I was like, okay. Will you be at Paris Fashion Week? I'm 18 at this point. Or maybe just turning 18. I had no idea how to get into Paris Fashion Week, so I went straight to Google. How to get tickets to Paris Fashion Week. Little did I know, that's not how you get into Paris Fashion Week. There's no tickets, right? And so I discovered what it was and I needed, that self-mastery, right? So when I got that email and that warm introduction, I did my research. It was a journey. I was like, okay, well, there's no tickets involved, so what do I need? And I found out what it was that I needed. And I needed a showroom. I needed a place for buyers, retail buyers, to come look at the collections, place their orders for their retail stores, their wholesale orders. And I didn't have that. And I was like, I can't afford that. And I did not let that stop me. I was like, I don't even know if I can afford to get to Paris. How am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? Literally. And I reached back out and I said, hey, I don't have a showroom, but I would still love to meet you. She said, no worries. We can meet in my hotel lobby. Long story short, I got to Paris on a buddy pass, which y'all know. Are you familiar with the buddy pass? Listen, I was like, I got there on a discount, okay? On the buddy pass. Got to Paris for Fashion Week on the buddy pass with every piece of jewelry I ever made and my line sheet, which is basically every product, the description, and how much I want to sell it for. And then what's the recommended retail price for those products? Because I also did the research on that. Well, how do I sell the products that I just spent all this time making? How much do I sell it for? What's the value? Right? Value is completely different from the worth, right? It might be sterling silver. Sterling silver, there's a metals market for that. The price you pay for your sterling silver jewelry isn't directly related to the market. It's related on that brand. It's the value. And so I figured that out. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. I had no real expectations. I was like, I'm just experiencing it. I'm present in the moment. Do y'all know that this woman bought my entire jewelry collection? Fun part, she didn't speak any English. We had it on Google Translate. I was like, she said, I buy now, I pay now, I take now. I was like, say less. Say less. She said, cash, US, yes. and literally, she did say this, see you next season. I was like, yes, you will. And while I was there, I made connections, built relationships. I even walked into, these events during Paris Fashion Week, and they're like, oh, Miss Karissma Yve. I was like, well, how do they know who I am? Right? And I got bit by this Paris Fashion Week bug. I was like, I'm going there. That now I understand. Now I get it. Now I get what I was doing in this basement. Now I understand. Black girl in Paris Fashion Week. I was like, we made it. Then we talked about the pivot. We talked a little bit about that pivot, right? So I did this for 5, 6, maybe more years consecutively. Paris Fashion Week happens 4 times a year. So, that buddy pass was buddying, okay? But then the jewelry was sold in over 15 countries after that first meeting. 15 countries, places that I've never been, and my products, my ideas, my vision were being worn and purchased by folks that were from different cultures, different experiences, and they were able to resonate with these products. And that just gave me so much joy, so much fulfillment. And then as I'm doing this, like clockwork, I was like, okay, wait, I'm going to fail. Y'all didn't see that coming, did you? Mm-mm. Because when you get to this point of achievement, yes, it was goals. Black Girl in Paris Fashion Week, goals. And yes, I achieved so much. It was in that moment, probably like the fifth time, it's like clockwork, it's work, right? So I'm designing, I'm creative, having to get into this creative space to design, come up with the new collections and ideas. But then I love the video. Thank you guys for producing that. That was amazing. But did y'all see me actually making the jewelry products? That takes time. And so I'm designing, I'm actually manufacturing the products. I'm doing customer service. I'm doing sales, direct to consumer sales, wholesale sales. I'm doing, business conversation strategy. I am literally wearing all of the hats. If it was a hat, I was wearing it, right? And I was like, this isn't sustainable, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And realizing that you achieved something, but then also realizing that you might need to pivot for something greater. And that was a tough pill. I was like, okay, wait, hold on. How do I pivot? What is it? And so I was like, okay, I figured it out. Ideas are the most important thing to humanity, but also me. So how can I really just focus on being the generator of those ideas? And I have the knowledge and the experience. Like I know how to make jewelry products, right? So then I'm informed and empowered to go to other manufacturers and tell them how I want it to be made because I have the experience and the practice and the expertise to say, this is how this should be done according to my vision. So then I was like, okay, figured it out. I need a manufacturing partner. So very similar. I was like, wow, this feels deja vu. I went to manufacturers. I was like, hey, I have a product. I have best-selling products. I have an incredible brand. It's sold in over 15 countries. We do Paris Fashion Week. It's been worn by this. Most of them told me no. We're not going to manufacture your products. Your brand, you're too small. The brand, not our focus. And also just maybe for no reason at all, right? And then I finally found some manufacturers to work with, and I tried them out. And I realized that I was going to fail with them. Wow. The process wasn't sustainable. Costs were high. The lead times were long. There was no transparency in supply chain. Like, where y'all getting y'all materials? Right? Because sustainability is important to me, how we get our products and our materials. We want to be conscious of the earth. We also want to be conscious of the communities. We're dealing in metal, right? So that means they were digging into the earth, mining these materials. There's typically those folks that are doing the mining or the communities around those mines, which are typically Black and brown individuals, and those conditions aren't as safe, right? So I'm conscious of that. And I was like, okay, well, when I'm making the products, I can be more in control. Herman talked about that, manufacturing, being in control over how things are done, being in control over the supply chain. And so I was like, wow, I'm going to fail with them, and I'm going to fail without them. What do I do? Right? I pivoted. And that pivot was really from there, like understanding that I need manufacturing. And, well, if it doesn't exist, I'm going to build it. And that's exactly what I did. And with Gildform, and when we talked about being the world's first all-in-one on-demand jewelry design and manufacturing platform, that's a thing, right? There was no company that would allow for me to come to them with my idea, come to them with, a vision, maybe just an idea, maybe just like a few words, a sketch, a reference image, a mood board. You had to have it all figured out before you even had a conversation with the manufacturer. And I really wanted to be able to scale. And so from there, I decided that I was going to be the one to create it because what I wanted did not yet exist. And so I was like, well, that was a roundabout way to get here. From there, I also had that expertise and understanding how to make the products I've been doing it. And so why not do it for others? Because when I went to while I was in Paris Fashion Week and showcasing my collections, I was also talking to other business owners, other brands. And I was like, is it me? Is it just me? Am I the drama? Are you experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing? And everybody said yes. It is hard to manufacture our products. It is hard to bring our ideas into reality. And I was like, well, are these the problems that you're experiencing? Because I took a sort of inventory of every problem I experienced. And I was like, I'm going to come back to this later. And I did. And from there, I was, okay, well, it's not just my problem. Now I can create the solution. I had the vision, but I'm like, now I can actually create the solution to the problem that is not just my problem. Because there's some problems where really it's just you. You're the drama, okay? So I had to validate and verify that it wasn't just me, that it wasn't just my problem, but it was a problem to a $330 billion industry. Wow. $330 billion industry. And so I was like, wow. And so from there, I was like, well, there's opportunity. And I believe that really this whole journey of being in the basement on the west side of Detroit, making the products, going to Paris Fashion Week, doing that over and over and over again, and finding success, at least success to the point where I realized that, oh, we can go higher. We can go bigger because the vision was bigger, right? And so going through all of those things, I was able to really understand what that true purpose is to be the platform for others to turn their ideas into reality. And so to be a platform means like I'm standing up on a platform, right? To be the thing that's beneath my feet, lifting me up. That was my goal. That was my version and definition of success, is to be the thing that will uplift others to achieve their dreams, to turn their vision into reality, to keep their vision alive. It was bigger than me. That's when I realized it was bigger than me. And so, long story short, we did the thing. Long story longer. We did the thing. We built the world's first all-in-one jewelry design and manufacturing platform. And what that means is we help brands of all types. We're going to talk about those brands. We help brands of all types to design, produce, and fulfill their jewelry products. We launched in 2020. It took that long to develop, to understand, to finance, to fundraise, to go through this whole process of being the first. They say to be first comes with a great deal of responsibility. So we were very intentional in taking our time in executing the vision. And when we launched in the middle of the pandemic, we had over 1,000% growth month over month. 1,000% growth month over month. And now we have over 4,000 creators that are signed up with the platform, that are ranging from those that are just getting started in their, basement, like how I started, to brands like Marvel and Disney. We're creating the products for Wakanda Forever. So to be able to support both, right? And I think even going through that process, I was told by a lot of folks that maybe had a lot more accolades than I did at that time when I started, right? When I started, and I was like, hey, or even before I started, hey, I had the idea. I've experienced this. I know this. I have data on this. Because remember, I said I took an inventory of every problem that I experienced. I also went back as I was doing my thing in Paris Fashion Week, got a survey, right? Every brand that I talked to, I didn't just ask them. Yes, I asked them, but I didn't just ask them, are you experiencing this problem or is it just me? We went into detail. went into depth. I even said, well, how much are you willing to pay to solve this problem? How much are you willing to spend to no longer have this problem, right? So I did surveys. So I had data to back it up. And this was a story of a lot of no's, okay? But the yeses were big, major, okay? The no's were me going to financiers, going to lenders, trying to, hey, this is what I've done. Here's the story. Here's the data to back it up. Here is a really refined, really robust business plan. We had it all figured out. And it was no. Who do you think you are? You think you could start a manufacturing company? You just had a little jewelry business. Those are, and I quote, real words. And so I'm like, wait, I figured it out. I did all these things. I did everything I was supposed to do. I did everything that I heard somebody stand up on a stage and say that I should have done. Right? Conferences a lot like this. I'm like, I did all the things. I wrote it down. I documented it and I did it. Well, why is it no? And I think that no was actually me being qualified, right? I love this saying is God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call. So I was called, and baby, I was qualified. The no's were knowing, okay? And to keep the vision alive, what I had to do was just keeping on. I had to keep doing the thing, stay persistent. And then I didn't take that no as in a no for forever. And maybe it's a no right now. Maybe it's a no and. And that no and actually I was able to get more data. Why is it a no today? What can I do to improve? Because it's not always them that's not believing in your vision. Yes, what they said was probably wrong, right? But I love what Herman was talking about, like removing those fear lenses. When you remove that fear lens and you're able to see, your no has nothing to do with me. And that's exactly what I said, was your no has nothing to do with me. And from there, that no actually turned into a lot of information, a lot of data. And a lot of the times when I act, because I always go back, I'm a double back and really understand what it was. And really most of the no's kind of had this common theme. Well, I thought you couldn't do it because I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. And if I can't do it, what makes you think you can? And so remember when I said that no has nothing to do with me? And we did it. I built this manufacturing company. We have over we have a building that's over 3,000 square feet where we're doing the manufacturing starting from 3D printing. We're doing the casting. We're doing everything from like automation using robotics, right? So that no, if you can't start just because you had a little jewelry company, what makes you think you could do manufacturing? We're doing manufacturing very well. And that manufacturing was actually honored by Forbes for 30 under 30. And I was honored as Forbes 30 under 30 for that manufacturing and industry category. So remember that no, when you are being told no on that vision, remember that no has nothing to do with you. And it's a no and. Go and ask questions. Do not take it personally, right? Maybe it's not your time. Maybe that is not for you. And I think that's one of the things that we're continuously learning and growing. And from there, like the business, the Gildform itself, as the first company in this industry to do the thing that has never been done before, and we're starting with jewelry, but that's just the beginning. I realized that in this creating this innovation within this multi-billion-dollar industry, there's more for us to do. Okay. And the way I want to actually tell you how it works, but to sum it up, when it comes to how we got here, there was vision, there was design, and execution. And that vision, that design, and that execution led me to receiving awards and accolades like we talked about from Forbes, but also took me to speak and inspire and to support billionaires like Sir Richard Branson and serial entrepreneurs, and receiving investments from the world's top investors like Techstars to Pharrell Williams, who is an award-winning musician, but also the creative director of Louis Vuitton Men's. And I have some co-investors in the room here. And so when I was thinking about the vision, the design, and the execution, it was like, well, who am I going to bring on this journey with me? Who do I need to lift me up? And who can I lift up? And so there's a lot, and I'm sure you guys are going to have questions about how did you go from the hood, trying to figure out how to manufacture jewelry, to working with brands like Chanel, a multi-billion-dollar brand, Chanel. How many, can I get a show of hands? Have you heard of the brand Chanel? The Chanel, not my cousin Chanel, the Chanel. And that opportunity, not my cousin, look, the Chanel, and that opportunity came through having strategic partnerships and relationships. So that investor that I mentioned, Pharrell Williams, is a strategic investor. Black Ambition, a strategic partner. Not only, and I love that the investor, part of the CEO of Black Ambition as well, Felicia Hatcher, always talks about her receipts. And the receipts are literally as long as a CVS receipt. Have you guys, you've been to CVS and got them long receipts? That's how long these receipts are. That's how much experience that these investors, co-investors, but also how much experience that I have. So together, our receipt is literally longer than the CVS receipt, okay? And to receive this investment, I'm not just thinking about, who's who's going to give me the money, right? Because I believe that whatever it is that you desire will come to you, right? And you just have to keep putting in the work. You can't just sit there and say, I'm waiting for it to come to me. You have to put in the work. And so I continue to put in the work. And through these strategic relationships and partnerships, from investors to customers, whomever, these are very strategic. And one of the things that got me really excited about Pharrell Williams as an investor was the money, yes, because historically, women, Black women in particular, are the least funded. The least funded. So yes, I was excited about the money. But then how could that relationship take me to more, to help me expand? And knowing Pharrell as a person and my experiences with him as an investor in particular was he's going to share the codes. He's going to share the codes. And what that means is to be in rooms that I'm not in, probably won't ever be in, and lift Gildform up, to lift me up, and also to bring me to those rooms. So one of those rooms was Chanel. Their global headquarters, and it wasn't just, a room with the product, Chanel. It wasn't a retail, it wasn't the store. It was with the president and COO of the Chanel. So I had this vision. We're going to go back to vision. The vision is I want Gildform to be the world's, not just the world's first, but the biggest. A multi-billion-dollar company. We were talking about, I want to have a global brand. That resonated because I was like, yes, me too. I get it. And that's exactly what I wanted, a global multi-billion-dollar company. And so when I went into the room, I did not go into that room empty-handed. I didn't go into that room without being armed with questions, ideas to get vetted, but also an offer. And that offer takes audacity, because those no's that had nothing to do with me, actually, you know, sometimes like your trauma, stress, it lives in your body, right? If you don't release it, it's going to stay in your body. And so it comes up every now and again, what they call imposter syndrome. I think it's deeper than that. That self-doubt, not being connected to the source. And so from there, I was like, okay, wait, I have to go into this room and go off. I'm not just going to the room. I'm not just showing up. I'm about to show out. And that's what we did. I packaged what it was that we were doing. What's Gildform? What's the story? We talked about the story. What's the story of me, as in the CEO and founder of Gildform? What's the story of Gildform? What's the story of you? So I'm telling Chanel their story because I did the research. This is the story of me and the story of you and the story of us together. That's how you create a partnership. But it's a story of us together. No matter what it is, if you're having a conversation with your friend, if you're having the conversation with your coworker or a dream partner, it's always the story of you, the story of me, and the story of us together. And so from there, I actually did the work. I showed up with the story of me, the story of you, and the story of us together. And the president was like, I have never seen anything like this. This is incredible. The president of this one of the world's largest fashion companies. I have never seen this before. Do you know what this means? I was like, tell me, pray tell. What does this mean? And what he said was, Gildform is the brand that disrupts, that helps other creators, disrupts brands like Chanel. And he said, I love it. And that response, that experience, having the audacity, that was an audacious move. To come there with my little, because when you have other people ask you, how's that little business going? Right? How you doing with your little business? You still doing that? Right? So that's the thing. It doesn't stop. You can be as big, whatever. There's always that, we call haters, but there's always going to be that, right? So I didn't let that deter me. I did not let that stop me. I kept the vision alive. Okay. And I took it to the next level. And it was also the conversation of what's the story of me? What's the story of you and us together today, us together in the future? How can you help me and how can I help you? Where is it that where do I want Gildform to be as a company? Where do I want to help Chanel get to? That's an audacious move. And from there, they were so excited about what we were up to. They were like, how do we help? How do we help inspire your customers to empower your customers to build the next Chanel using your platform? Do you know they put together an entire presentation for our customers, for our creators, as we call them, to teach them how to unlock the power of on-demand using Gildform from the Chanel perspective. And not only did they do that, they also shared the codes, meaning a full day of, we're going to open up the books. We're going to talk about how we do it. We're going to talk about why we do it. And to really get into the nitty-gritty of the business. And that's just one of the experiences when it comes to strategic partnerships that the Black Ambition or Black Ambition that was created by Pharrell Williams. That was just one room of many. I just got back from meeting with the president of Louis Vuitton and their entire executive team. Right? That little business, the little jewelry business. And I'm saying this with full humility because there's still so much work that I'm excited to do. And, because I have this experience and expertise in knowing what it takes to actually create the jewelry, I am not above or beyond doing the jewelry myself. if I need to. Look, production, we got a full team. We have a global team, a globally distributed team. We have a full manufacturing. We have a lot of equipment. We got all the things that we need. But if we need the muscle, I will step on the production floor if necessary. And I think that is something that, as a leader, is important. Every single one of you in this room are leaders. And you literally can do anything that you put your mind to, so long as you have the vision. And it starts with an idea. I'm going to take you through the journey of how Gildform actually works. And it starts with an idea, literally. So you can see the customer sketch. It's like a little scribble, right? Quick sketch. Starts with an idea, and they hire from our global network of CAD designers. These CAD designers create the sketch, turn the sketch into a 3D model. And that 3D model is used for the manufacturing process. That 3D model becomes their intellectual property, which is different from the manufacturers in China. Because you're going to come to them with your idea, and they're going to make it for you. But then you don't have the mechanics to make it yourself. So we provide the actual model. So you can make it with us, or you could take it and go anywhere you want with it. And that, I think, starting from a place of integrity and transparency, because that's like our core value. And that core value is, okay, we're going to empower you. So starting with design, how do we help you turn your vision into reality? Starts with an idea. That idea can come in the form of a sketch, like you see up there, a reference image, a mood board, or that idea could be, make me some earrings in 24 karat gold, inspired by ancient Egypt and 90s R&B and hip hop, but make it sci-fi. And our AI tool, they're going to make you these. Did you hear that? Gildform's artificial intelligence tool that we created will actually create the earrings that are on my ears from that simple, kind of complex prompt. So it was, make me some earrings inspired by ancient Egypt, R&B and hip hop, 90s, because I had to be real specific, 90s R&B and hip hop, but make it sci-fi. And it literally created the earrings that I have on my ears. And that's the technology, proprietary technology. Do y'all remember the vocab word? Proprietary, meaning that we built it, we own it, it is ours. And it's not just mine, right? Yes, when it comes to ownership, but it's ours. This technology empowers brands all over the world. Starting, again, maybe it could be the startup that just has an idea with just a couple, a few $1,000s to invest in their entire brand, or the multi-billion-dollar company like a Disney or Marvel, right? We're going to level the playing field. And that's what we did. And then from there, you can actually see the 3D model that was created from that sketch. Traditionally, what you would do to make that happen is you would have to get some wax and hand carve it. That's going to take hours. It's going to days, depending on how complex it is. We did this in one day with Gildform's technology. And then, so we talked about vision. You got to have the idea, and then you got to have the design. Now it comes execution. And so within our process for creating these custom products that never existed before, you can actually move on to the production process by clicking produce. And then you choose different materials. So do you want gold? What color gold? You want yellow gold, rose gold? What carat? 14, 24? What material? What polishing or plating? You want a high polish, a satin hand hammered? And as you're making these selections, you can actually see it being built that is Gildform. You can see it being built on your screen right in front of your eyes. So the thing that did not exist a day ago is right there. And that's literally me taking my experience as a designer and what I know and what I heard from other designers and creators, and putting it into a really robust technology platform. We have now 4 going on 5 proprietary software platforms that sort of are integrated in this entire process. As a creator is making their selections of material and polishing, they're getting instant pricing to the metals market based on their quantity. So you could do 1, you could do 100, you could do 1,000,000. And we have orders following that, right? Literal. 100. It doesn't matter what the quantity is. You're also going to get quantity-based pricing on Gildform. You also can access up to $50,000 in on-demand financing for your production right on the platform as well. And as we were trying to find really the partner in that and also just kind of going through that process, I just distilled what it was that I was doing and what I struggled with. In business, it's not just because I just want to do this thing. You should never start business because you don't want to work for somebody else. Because when you do that, when you start a business, understand that you're still working for somebody else. Whether it's your board of directors, your shareholders and investors, your employees, your community, you're still working for somebody. Okay, so make sure that when you're starting your business or scaling your business, you're doing that with the understanding that you are here to solve a problem. Yes, also love what you do, because it really doesn't feel like work. This is a part of my job, you guys, and it does not feel like work. Because I love this. I love this community. I love sharing and telling the stories of, the story of me, the story of you, and the story of us together. Right? But at that point, when I realized what is a designer or what's a business owner, what's a brand struggling with? They struggle maybe with they have the idea, but maybe they lack vision, which is greater than just the idea and the thing alone. Right? They have vision or an idea, but then they don't know how to make it. They don't know how to design it. They don't know how to make it real. But then, okay, maybe you have a design, but I don't know how to produce it. How do I actually make it into a tangible product? What do I need to do to make it so that I can hold it in my hand? Right? Okay, let's say you figure all of that out with Gildform. Okay, now I got to fund this thing. And that was one of the problems that I experienced with, starting and scaling my own jewelry brand, was like, okay, how do I get financing? So I have these orders, but I don't get the money until it ships. But I need to buy the materials. I need to actually put in the labor to manufacture the products. And so financing. I also mentioned that people of color, Black people, Black women in particular, are least funded. But they are also starting businesses at a higher and faster rate than any other category. Right? And so how do we remove those barriers of getting the funding that you need to start and scale your business as much as we can? So we found a partner in that, and being able to empower these businesses to get access to the capital they need, up to $50,000 per brand, has alleviated so many problems, have solved so many problems for these creators. But then it's like, okay, well, what if I don't qualify for financing, right? Because that's a problem. Literally, that is this way of thinking should be the process for your business, right? Okay, we figured that out, but what's next? And that what's next for us is, how do we empower those that maybe don't yet qualify for funding? How do we help them validate their business even before they try to go and get funding? Because you don't necessarily need to get funding to start your business. Validate the product. Get your data. Okay? And so from there, we help the creators get their products to market in 2 different ways. One is through the fulfillment on demand, which means, and we were recognized as one of the only companies and the first company in the world to allow for businesses to go from this idea to market instantly. And so what that means is once they upload their models, they choose their specifications and the materials and all that good stuff, they can click publish to Shopify. It hasn't even been made yet, but I can start selling it. And only pay for production after I get the sale. So Gildform loads the product directly into our creator's Shopify or e-commerce store. And when the end customer places the order, Gildform receives the order, we charge their card for production, and we begin the production process. They've already received cost plus. They've already made a profit on their product before they even made the payment for the production of it. Right? So that was a problem too. It's like, what? Okay, I get all these e-commerce and direct-to-consumer orders. How do I fulfill them if I don't have the funds yet to do it? So we just removed it completely. Publish it to your online store and validate. You can use the actual rendering of the product. Maybe create a sample first. Get it out there. Right? Make sure it's validated when as you validate your product before you get it to market, right? Make sure it feels good. Make sure it's exactly what you envision. You don't have to do that. We have customers that are like, I just need to get it out there. I trust it. I trust the vision. I'm just going to get it out there, right? But we recommend getting a sample of the product. But that is the entire process. They also can produce their products to sell in any way they choose, which means, let's say they have some wholesale stores. Let's say they are Ford Motor Company, who's like, hey, we have we have this project like the train station, and we're making products, right? And they can sell it in any way they choose. That, what I just mentioned, is happening later today. Right? So empowering, you don't have to be a jewelry company either. Ford Motor Company, right? And that is the beauty of having a platform like Gildform to really remove every barrier that was historically experienced in the jewelry manufacturing industry. So anybody can create a piece of jewelry and tell their vision and express themselves through the products that they're designing and producing. And so it's an incredible journey to be on this, but everything that I mentioned, this whole process that we talked about in Gildform is really a process that you should be mindful of as you are starting and scaling your businesses. Vision, design, and execution. Literally. Vision is, let me see if I can move this down. Vision is, have you guys heard of the saying, you cannot be what you can't see? Yeah. Right? So a lot of people understand that statement as, if I don't see another woman that's doing jewelry manufacturing, I can't be that. Really, it's what you cannot see inside of you. Right? Because when I started, I didn't see another person that had that same profile, grew up in Brightmoor, started a jewelry manufacturing company. But now I become a person that can inspire the next. But it didn't start with me having to physically see the thing right in front of me. I did not see another on-demand jewelry design and manufacturing company that was powered by artificial intelligence where you can use a couple of words and get a product. I didn't see that. We are the world's first, literally. So it didn't exist, but existed within me, and that's vision. So as you are out there building and ideating, really it's more than just keeping the vision alive. I think that's something that is so critical, right? You have to sustain it. You got to sustain the substance. You also have to have vision without barriers, without the no's that are not yours, right? Like if you could do anything, what would you do? One of our investors, Black Ambition again, always ask their founders, who are you uninterrupted? So they asked me that question, and I'm like, well, who am? So write that question down. Who are you uninterrupted? And I want you to meditate and reflect on that, because that means that there is literally not one interruption. Nothing is going to stop you. Nothing is going to get into your way. And that answer to your question, to that question, will evolve, right? It's going to grow as you grow, right? And so don't be afraid of that. And so who am I uninterrupted that's the vision. It's not just, I want to start a business and this is what the business does. That's what you do. That's not the vision. The vision is something that you need to be able to see in your mind. Before you see it, you actually got to define it. Right? So inclusive of that vision could be, this is my business. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. But what is the vision? How does it feel? You got to get into that. How does it feel? How would it feel when you accomplish that thing? Right? So really understand that, the answer to that question, who are you uninterrupted? Really navigate through that. And then you will come upon that vision. Okay. And then after you get the vision, you need to make it real. Make a plan. Because when you're blessed with a vision, I need you to stop everything that you're doing and write it down. Save it for later if you have to, but come back to that and then make a plan. Even if you have no idea, you're like, how I did with starting jewelry manufacturing in this basement. I really didn't know how I was going to do it. Right? But I was like, okay, step 1, figure it out. Literally, do the research. So that's usually the first step in creating your plan. We call it designing. Create your plan, map it out. Do your research when it comes to, how do I execute this vision? What's the first step that I need to take? Typically, again, that first step is research. But then once you figure it out, you need to execute. So you have vision, you have design, you have execution. And this is literally every single thing that Gildform does, and how we help our customers actually make their products, bring their products and their businesses into reality. We give them the support in executing their vision. We give them the support in creating the design, even the plan. We have our even roadmap generators. When you sign up for Gildform, we take you through this process. It's an onboarding questionnaire. And then after, you get a roadmap, literally step-by-step guide on how to achieve not my goal, but your goal, customized to you and what it is that you're trying to do. And then all the tools that you need to execute. The technology, the actual technology itself, but also the back end, the manufacturing, the 3D printing, the casting, the polishing, the artisans, the people behind the products actually execute the products, right? So vision, design, and execution. The vision, again, is where it all starts. Understand it for yourself. It's not someone else's vision. It's your vision. So take that time to really get to that point and then understand, what's the solution? What problem am I solving? What problem am I solving? And a lot of people would think that as they're starting, maybe I heard some apparel companies in here. I heard spa or salon services. It's like, you might think that you may not be solving a problem. That just means you haven't gone deep enough, right? Every company that exists solves a problem. That problem could be, I want to aspire to something. It could be aspirational, right? For me, Chanel was super aspirational. It was like goals. Not right now, but like goals, right? Or lifestyle. Or it could be literal, I'm helping businesses do X, Y, and Z so that they can, and that so that they is really important, right? Once you understand the solution that you are offering, you then need to understand, how does that person or how does your customer benefit from your solution? Because that's your marketing plan, right? How do you benefit from that solution? Or how does the customer benefit from that solution? An example is Gildform. Remember when that president and COO said Gildform's the brand, the company that disrupts other brands, multi-billion-dollar brands. And so Gildform is empowering creators to turn their ideas into reality so that they can build the next billion-dollar company. Right? So as you are thinking about your businesses, write down, what is it that we're doing? And then what is the benefit of that? So we're doing X, Y, and Z so that our customers can. It could be, we're starting a jewelry company so that our customers can really feel empowered by the messages that are embedded in the products that we're selling. It could be an apparel company. You have to understand what it is that your business is allowing for your customers to do. And you definitely want to take some time. And then also, who are you solving it for? Who are your customers? I was told that Gildform should really just focus either on the startups or the big companies, the enterprises. Pick one. I was like, no. Because we're a platform, right? So a lot like this platform that I'm standing on this stage, a lot of people can fit on this. And then when it comes to the robustness of our technology, you can be like Karissma in the basement in Brightmoor, or you can be the multi-billion-dollar company like Disney, right? And just understand that the thing here, though, you must understand is that the problem that you're solving for the budding entrepreneur in their basement is different than the problem of the big billion-dollar company. Does that make sense? So the problem that I'm solving for the independent, just getting started, I'm just starting my business, is different from the business that has been in business for over 100 years. So understand, you can do it all, but you have to understand the mechanics of how you're doing it. And so to understand that, you do your research. You ask the questions of your target customer, of the target customer who you want to solve their problem for, right? You ask them the questions. What is the benefit of using my company? Why did you buy this product? And so now you have data. We love data. We live in the mighty dream. Dream, DREAM. Data rules everything around me. Okay? Data. So I got the data. Now I understand how I'm going to solve the problem for the budding entrepreneur, but then how I'm going to solve the problem for the enterprise. They might have some similarities, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And so, but you can do both, right? It's just the mechanics on how you do it. Okay, so then once you do that, you need to talk about it. You need to document. You need to show that your idea has merit. You also need to get feedback, because there's nothing wrong with feedback. It could be like, hey, I'm not going to ever wear that. I don't like that design you did, but here's how you can make it better. It didn't fit me well, but here's how you can improve it. That data will then inform your next best design, your next best product, right? And so from there, you want to show that that your ideas have merit and that it's actually solving a problem. You need to prove that people want it. Are they willing to pay for it? Is another question that you need to answer. How much are they willing to pay for it? Giving it away sounds great, but will they buy it? It's not, I have 10 people or 1 million people wearing my products. Did they buy it? Now, there's strategies for that. And then you also want to use real life case studies and examples. Those real life case studies and examples could be asking your customers to post a picture of them wearing your product on social media and tagging you. It could be including that in your packaging, right? Tag us on this, show us you got it, we'll give you this. Including that in your marketing, I think it's really smart. But then once you have all of that and you actually have the proof of the product and the proof of the thing that you're selling and offering, you want to also talk about why you're the one to continue to do business with, right? You want to talk about why you're the one, why you're different from other companies, right? So folks would choose Gildform because we have the unique ability to help them get their products to market faster. We also do so sustainably, faster than ever before, where most companies are going to take 6 to 9 months to develop a product. We could do it in a week. In a week, less than a week, right? It really depends. And so you want to get your first customers when you're starting. Focus on getting your first customer. Number one. Focus on the number one customer. And then from there, you want to 100% ask for reviews. Not all reviews are going to be positive, and that's okay. I think that's one of the things that entrepreneurs struggle with the most. It's like, what if they don't like my product? I have to make it perfect before I put it out there. I have to have, I think it's important to make sure that you're protected as a company, but you don't have to have it all figured out when it comes to the products, right? As long as you have this level of transparency, saying, we would love your feedback. This is our first launch. And you get to be a part of that first launch. And so to get people to buy in literally means that they're bought into that very first offer that you have or the very first product that you've created. You want to make sure that you're asking them for feedback, because then you'll use that feedback for your vision. And you want to also, again, we talked about the user generated content, but then document yourself doing it. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. If you don't share it, document it for yourself. Maybe you'll come back to it later, but document the process. Just me talking about my products before I even figured it all the way out took me all the way to Paris Fashion Week. Because I documented my process, because I talked about what it was that I was doing, because I asked for feedback. Because I had user-generated or customer-generated content, it validated that idea so that that buyer on the other side of the world who didn't speak English understood the message. And so you want to make sure that you're continuing to do that. And I think that that's a lot of folks will be challenged by this idea of, well, I don't want to be the face of my company. I don't want to put myself out there. That's a hard thing. And I think that comes from having that fear lens. And it also comes from ego. That's one of the things that I realized about myself was that the fear that I had, which I had a fear of public speaking. I had a fear of public speaking. I would go into, and it was a fear. I would hop on a stage. I can't talk. I'm sweating, so uncomfortable, right? Couldn't hold the mic. The first time I talked, I think I cried on stage. It was bad. It was bad. And I think from there, I was like, okay, that's a setback. Me crying, I was like, wait, hold on, that's weird. Let me unpack that. But that, I think, really comes from this, well, what are they going to think about? What are they going to say about me when we leave? Do they like what I have on? Did what I say resonate? There's so much fear that lives inside of someone, and they may not even realize it. They may not have any idea of where it's coming from. It can be completely illogical, right? It can make no sense where it's I don't like standing on stages because, the platforms that I'm standing on, I feel like I'm a fall. I have a fear of heights or whatever. I've heard the craziest things. I don't want to post myself on social media because I don't want someone to steal my idea. I don't want to do this because just do the thing. Put yourself out there and realize that it's bigger than you. And that thought alone helped me overcome the fear of public speaking, the fear of going big, being audacious. And it was that understanding that when I say it's bigger than me, that means that like I have an army. I might be up on this stage, but there's an army of folks. I might be the only one, but there's an army of folks that are behind me, right? Because it is truly bigger than me. There's a business that thousands and thousands and thousands of businesses are being built upon. Businesses are getting started. They're scaling on Gildform. And so for me to have that fear really does a disservice to my assignment. And so that's when I was like, okay, well, I have to work through accomplishing that. And when it comes to the execution of how do I overcome that fear, I put in the work. I need a coach. Who's done it? Who's done it before? Who can I talk to? Who can I learn from? Because I don't have all the answers. I do not have all the answers, okay? And coming to events like this so that you can it might be one thing, and that's the thing that you came here for, right? And so I think that's really, really important when it comes to, as you're navigating this process, make sure that you're documenting the process so that you can also collect data. And don't be afraid, because every piece of experience that you have is just information. That information will allow for you to get information so that you can set yourself up for success. And that success should be fully aligned within your vision, right? But you need every experience, every experience, the losses, the sacrifice, the challenges, the pivots, all of those things are information so that you can be better, be bigger, and continue to execute on your vision and to turn it into reality. And so the things that we talked about here, the codes, we talked about sharing codes. I love getting the codes, so I'm going to share the codes with you. Make sure in your endeavors that you're embracing technology. Embrace technology and innovation. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace technology and innovation. Embrace technology and innovation. And so what that means is Gildform, remember we talked about the jewelry manufacturing industry? It's old. It's one of the oldest things known to humanity. And I was told, you can't do this thing with technology like it's meant to be the way that it is. And no, it's not, right? It's not. We're living proof of that. But I think through that audaciousness and the understanding of how important it is to embrace technology and innovation, we went all the way. How can we help? How can we utilize technology from having an on-demand platform to do print-on-demand, drop-ship fulfillment, computer-aided design, artificial intelligence, robotics, all of the things, right? Not having that fear of technology. So there's a lot of talk about AI right now. Use it. Don't fear it. Use it. Create the next AI tool, right? See how you can be a part, not just a part of being a user or early adopter, as they call them, of these technologies. But you want to think about, like, how can I actually create something? You can even use the AI to help you create it. So make sure that you're doing that. Make sure you understand your customer deeply. You can have different types of customers. Don't be afraid of that. Just make sure that you understand them. You also want to make sure that you're building a strong brand identity. Brand identity is not your logo. It's not the colors. It is, what is it that we stand for? What is our message? What's the story that we're telling? And then out of that, you'll discover things like the colors, right? Because once you know that, you'll know which colors will resonate with the different feelings that you're looking to evoke. So don't start there. Do not be like, oh, my brand is pink because pink is my favorite color. Understand who your customer is, understand who you're talking to and the message, and then take it to the next step and understand what will resonate with them. Because that's most important. You want to make sure that you're investing in yourself and in your team. Making sure that we talked about, again, documenting the process, but also focusing on the customer experience that you have, right? So use even if it's a bad experience, even if the customer is dissatisfied, do everything in your power to make it right. Even if you cannot satisfy them in that moment, have transparency, humility, and saying, you know what, we didn't get it right this time, but next time we will. And we hope there is a next time, should we be afforded one, right? Because it's a process, it's a journey. Rome was not built in a day, but I want to leave you with this. Your vision has power. Your vision has power, it has value, and your persistence in execution will allow for you to turn any idea, any vision you have into a reality. Just remember, you need vision, you need design, you need execution.
Blessed, blessed, blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of my God. I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. Ay, I love him, I love him. I want you to know that ain't no name above him. Hey, lift him up. Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed, 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 blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of my God. I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him. I want you to know that ain't no name above him. I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him.